What is going on, guys? It is Sacred here with another LEGOMOC, and yeah, it's around 3,500 pieces, and it's Starcourt Mall from Stranger Things Season 3. So yeah, I'm super happy to be showing you guys this MOC because I spent so much time on it and it was honestly pretty fun to build. And yeah, I normally stay away from base plates, but this MOC is built on one, which is a 48 by 48, and that does make it my largest MOC. And yeah, I'm not going to call this my original creation because it's basically a mini version of the jackhammers. I took so much inspiration from his build, and I'm not even going to call it my original creation. And yeah, his MOC looked like something that would be really fun to build, so that's basically why I built this. I almost wasn't going to make a video on this MOC because it's almost a direct copy, but I mean, it is smaller because I don't have a lot of parts. But yeah, with that aside, let's actually dive right into this. So yeah, the front has an 8 brick tall snot construction of some border texture. And yeah, it starts off in some earthy colors like dark tan, brown, and dark gray, and then transitions into some upside down terrain with colors like black and dark blue and some vine-like pieces. And yeah, for the textured border, I just used plates, tiles, angled plates, slopes, and just all the pieces I regularly use for my borders and terrain. And yeah, the border was definitely the most fun thing to build in this MOC because it's kind of my style of building. Just like terrain and rock work is kind of my thing rather than a building, I guess. But taking a look at the actual front facade, it just looks accurate to Starcourt Mall itself from the show. And yeah, I just used trans blue tiles on the top to represent the neon lights, and yeah, that just continues through the glass pyramid bit, which was actually pretty interesting to build, and it took me a while just because I played around with a lot of different techniques. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the front facade. There really isn't much else to say about it. There's just the brown bits and then the windows on the side and then a door and some more glass. But now getting into the interior, there's no roof or sidewalls because I barely had enough bricks to build the shops inside. And yeah, Starcourt Mall has the first floor underground, so that's why the front is elevated to ground level. And yeah, there are 2 escalators taking you down, and I really like how the escalators look. I just used a bunch of black slopes and then a simple angling technique, and yeah, the center area is all tiled down using white tiles, and that area is just surrounded by a bunch of places to go to. And yeah, in the middle there's a simple fountain build that looks pretty good, and yeah, as you can see, there are a ton of figures scattered around this build, and they're all from licensed themes because I only buy sets from certain licensed themes. And yeah, if you can name every minifigure scattered around this build in the comment section down below, I'll shout you out. And in this MOC, there is a Vans clothing store, a technology store, a fast food burger place, an arcade, and a coffee shop. And let's start off with my favorite part of the interior, the clothing store, which is basically a Vans store because it looks like a modern day Vans store that you would find in a mall. And Vans was a thing back then, and it's one of my favorite clothing brands. And the store itself looks really modern and clean. It has a really nice textured brick technique, and once you go inside, there's some t-shirts on display along with some shoes and pants or shorts to the left, and then there's also some shelves that would hold some merch, which are just built using a snot technique. And yeah, I think the Vans store turned out looking really good overall. And now moving on to the next store, which is the technology store. It is pretty small, so I couldn't add too much, but it does have a medium blue color scheme, and there's also some black tiles placed on their side, and I just used a snot technique for that. And yeah, moving on to the inside of the technology store, it just has an 80s TV on display, and yeah, that was super easy to build. And then there's also a phone display stand with some phones, and yes, those phones do look like modernish ones, but I don't have an old-fashioned phone piece or even know if they exist, and a brick-built one would just look bad. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the technology store. So moving on to the fast food burger place. It is open, and it's one of those places where you order and they make it in front of your face, and it's done in like 2 minutes since it's fast food, and it's not exactly the healthiest choice, but I made this thing look super messy and unsanitary. And yeah, that's why there's just random slabs of lettuce, bread, cheese, and meat in random places. And yeah, I just wanted to give it kind of a messy look, because fast food restaurants are normally kind of messy, but there is a table and 2 chairs next to it where there are some figures enjoying a burger. And yeah, that burger is a pretty simple build consisting of only 6 pieces. And moving on to the cafe, which is diagonal to the fast food place. It is based off a modern day Starbucks, and it does have a table and a comfy seat outside of it. And yeah, it does also have an open design. You can't really go inside, you just order and wait for your drink. And yeah, it does have a dark green and sand green color scheme, and it has a coffee machine along with some drawers for extra storage space. And now moving on to the final place in this mall, it is the arcade, which was pretty fun to design and build. Kind of has a color scheme on each side of it, nothing really matches. It almost looks like a mall in itself, and yeah, it does have the shark from the Silent Mary on top, and that's supposed to just be kind of like a logo for this arcade. And as you may know, Stranger Things takes place in the 80s, and arcades show up multiple times throughout the show. So I kind of took inspiration from those for this build, and yeah, there are 3 arcade machines that use a similar design, and yeah, I think they look pretty good, and the floor is red just to make it pop more, and then there is also a claw machine build along with a counter. And that is pretty much it for all the places in this mall. There's obviously some space to chill and hang out, look around the fountain or just anywhere. And yeah, the flooring of the mall itself uses the same tiling pattern, but it's implemented through 2 different colors, being white and sand green. And another reason why there are no walls is because this isn't the whole mall, it's just part of it, and it's actually meant to look like the mall goes on forever. And finally, that is it for this mock and the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this because it took me a while to build and just to make the video in general, and it's going to be a pain taking it apart, but if you're still watching, thank you so much for sticking around for this long. It really does mean a lot. But yeah, let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. I know that's really ambitious, and I normally don't set those kind of goals, especially for like likes and stuff, but I just want to see how many likes this video can get. So yeah, remember to leave your thoughts down below, and take care and peace out.